That's why I love them both. They are real, those two women, my coworkers. Fox News alert. America's national security is under threat, and the current president's border crisis has led in an increasing number of people on the terror watch list, millions of unknown, unvetted border crossers, drug cartel-driven fentanyl, and an underground network of sex trafficking. If our nation will stand a chance at any point, then we have to stave off this wave of crime and peril. We need leadership who will actually lead. Yet on this day, U.S. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, the top Democrat, is about to hold a test vote on the same border bill that failed earlier this year. It was created as a bipartisan bill, but Republicans are now saying the effort is worse than doing nothing. And they press the point that it's all a political gimmick to boost vulnerable Democrats in an election year. Live from Washington, D.C., in the battle to secure the border on this day, I'm Harris Faulkner. You are in the Faulkner Focus. For now, a second time. The legislation all but certain to fail. Republican Senator James Lankford, who helped negotiate the original bill, is now joining other GOP senators who are against it.
We wrote it to be a bill to try to actually solve the problem and to say if this is not going to be the solution, then let's figure out what can be the solution, but let's not just bring up prop votes.
Senator Schumer and President Biden thinks the American people are stupid. They think they can pull the wool over their eyes.
This is a political stunt. You have Chuck Schumer doing this because they are hurting. They know that the open border is the #1 issue with the American people.
So we just saw Senator Marsha Blackburn of the great state of Tennessee there, and she was on with me yesterday. Blackburn, of course, criticized President Biden, as she has done time and time again, for not taking executive action to make America safe by handling the border disaster. Here's reaction from the White House.
Why should he have to do it unilaterally? Why should we do it in a legislative way? And let's not forget that negotiated.
I know, but undo some of.
Wait, so you're right. He took many executive actions before, but in order to deal with what's happening at the border, you need legislation. You need it to happen in a bipartisan way.
In focus with me now in Washington, D.C., Republican of Louisiana and Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, is here. So first of all, let's start with what the president is feckless on right now. First, he says he doesn't have the power. Then he says he does to secure the border. What is the truth, and why won't he carry out action?
Well, the truth is very clear, and he knows that. I have presented to him myself, Harris, a list of at least 8 statutory authorities that he has had since the day he walked in the Oval Office. Now, remember, we documented 64 specific executive actions that President Biden and his administrators, including Mayorkas, who we had to impeach in the House because of this, they intentionally took these actions to open the border wide. They did this by design, and that's what's so terrible about it. He's had executive authority every day to reverse what he's done, but he refuses to use it.
So talk to me about the politics of the moment. You, no doubt, I know you had your meeting at the White House. Does the president seem to you to be up to speed on exactly what's happening at the border?
I think he's in denial, and I think that many in his party have demanded. There is an open borders sort of caucus, informal caucus in the Democrat Party, and they push this.
Really?
They push this agenda. Yeah, and the reason is, Harris, everybody asks me, I've been in 110 cities in 29 states now in the last 5.5 months, moving around the country, campaigning with our incumbents and candidates. Everywhere I am, no matter where I am in the country, everybody says, why? Why would they do this? There's such a catastrophe for the country. Why would the president knowingly allow this? Because they wanted to turn these people into voters. That's plain. And they want to change the outcome of the census in 6 years. It sounds sinister, and it is, and they've exacted untold damage on the country.
What about the H.R. 2 bill that was, put in the Senate last May? So it's been there for more than a year now. What about that bill kept Democrats from even taking a peek? Yet they want Republicans now to come to the table with them in the Senate. What's the truth about that?
Well, the truth is H.R. 2, the Secure the Border Act, was the most stringent border security measure ever passed by Congress. We passed that through the House over a year ago, to your point. It's been sitting on Chuck Schumer's desk collecting dust. The reason they won't touch it is because it would actually solve the problem. It would reinstate Remain in Mexico, which was the policy that President Trump used to get control of this border. It would end the catch and release program. They're they're accompanied, or they've seen these people at the border, and they're turning them loose into the homeland, distributing them around the country, and putting them on public assistance, by the way, as they do that. It would fix the broken asylum process and fix the parole process. You do those things, you solve the crisis, and the White House has no interest in doing that.
And this bill that potentially will fail for a second time doesn't do any of that.
No, it's not a border security bill, it's an immigration bill, and it would actually codify some of the terrible decisions and policies that President Biden has enacted, and that's why all the Republicans are united against it.
One last one on this topic, and I don't know when was the last time you were at the border?
We went January 3rd, took 64 House Republicans down there.
And you just said you've been to 110 cities. How important is this issue for the November election?
It's the #1 issue. In fact, I don't think there's ever been an issue that polled as high as border. This concern that every American has about it. People are fed up. They've had enough. They see what this is doing to our country. Harris, by our estimates, it may be close to 17 million illegals come across the border since Joe Biden took office.
Now, your numbers seem to be a lot more aligned with what I've seen at the border. Why is the administration's not there?
We don't trust the numbers. I mean, they count encounters at the border, but that doesn't account for all the gotaways. They have a number for that. I think it's underestimated. What no one ever talks about is the people that got through completely undetected, without any evasion at all.
Wow. All right, let's move to this. Another politically charged showdown in immigration today. And Speaker, you're making some moves on election integrity, and there's a vote today on a House Republican bill to roll back a voting law here in D.C., and it lets non-citizens vote in local elections. Axios is reporting that House Democrat leadership is working hard to try to crush your efforts. So it starts in D.C. What are you trying to do with this bill?
Well, this is the example A, right? The D.C. City Council has decided they want illegals to vote in local elections. And that's a real problem, because all you have to do is reside in the District of Columbia for 30 days, and you can participate in the election. That means Russian spies. It means Chinese officials. It means, enemies of freedom could help decide who the mayor is in D.C. and who the council is. And
wait a minute.
Yes, that's right.
30 days. Yet when you come across the border, you can't get a court date, even if you qualify for one, as an asylum seeker for years.
Years. They give them a little piece of paper and say, please show up in New Jersey in, the year 2031. It's a joke.
Would this change anything in this country if suddenly non-citizens like that could vote?
Absolutely.
I mean,
if the numbers are accurate, let's just take the DHS numbers, Department of Homeland Security. If there's 10 million illegals in the country, let's just say 1 out of 100 decide to sign up to vote. I mean, you can change the outcome of a presidential election, congressional races, for certain. It's a real serious problem.
A couple of things. So you're starting in Washington, D.C., but there are other states where there are municipalities, California, Maryland, Vermont, where you can vote in local elections. It's my understanding that there's a federal law that non-citizens cannot vote at the federal level. What is your concern? Because that's been some of the pushback on your bill.
This is a huge problem. We're going to handle the D.C. issue because Congress has jurisdiction over that. But we also have jurisdiction over federal elections across the country. The problem is right now, if you show up at a welfare office, where the administration, by the way, is telling all the illegals to go sign up for taxpayer benefits, of course, when you're there in these local offices, because of the motor voter law that passed in the early 90s, they also give you another form. Hey, would you like to register to vote, right? There's one box that someone checks and says, I'm a U.S. citizen, yes. In every state right now, virtually every state, you can sign up to vote by just checking that box. There's no way to prove citizenship because the law currently prohibits the states from requesting it. We have the SAVE Act we'll be introducing right after the Memorial Day holiday. We'll get that passed, and that will solve that problem on the federal election basis. We've got to do that. We have an absolute responsibility.
All right, before I let you go, again, a big day in Washington, particularly for you, Speaker. 4 of your top aides announced within the 24-hour period of each other that they are leaving your office. They're quitting. And you've had the speakership for about 7 months now. There are 166 days, yes, we're counting, until the November elections. And your party is fighting to keep its now shrinking majority in the House, just 4 members. Earlier this month, you survived an effort to vacate the seat. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene came for you. How do you hang on?
We hang out. We do the job every single day. We have the smallest margin in U.S. history. Newt Gingrich posted an op-ed 2 weeks ago, said Johnson has the toughest speakership since the Civil War 160 years ago. I don't know if that's true, but it's not easy. 1 vote margin right now is what we have. But the 4 staffers that left are out of 100. We have over 100 employees in the Speaker's office. They're great folks, and they committed to stay with us for 6 months to go through that transition. We changed speakers in the middle of a Congress that hadn't been done before.
Right.
And so they did their valiant duty to the country, and they go with my blessing. They're great guys. They've got great opportunities in the private sector. We'll be announcing their replacements in the next week, and we move forward. This is a revolving door in Congress. Young staffers come in, serve for a while, and go forward. I'm really happy for them, and we're happy about where we are. We're going to have a great November, grow the majority, win the Senate, and win the White House as well.
Do you think you'll be challenged again by Marjorie Taylor Greene?
I don't expect so. The stakes are too high. We've got to govern, and we've got to keep the train on the tracks, so to speak, and I think we'll continue to do that.
I like how you broke a smile when they tell you how the odds are not since the Civil War, and you take that challenge. Last quick word.
Well, we have to. Look, this is a fateful moment for the country, and we're going to provide principled leadership and show the American people what we're for. I think that's really important.
House Speaker Johnson, thank you so much for being with me today. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.